Thank you, Ravimbo. Thanks to the staff at Inyathelo and my fellow participants, hello, and to you, the distinguished representatives of civil society. It's an honor to be here today. The ANC led the broad national liberation movement in South Africa to the strategic breakthrough in 1994. That liberation movement comprised of various organizations and participated in various forms of popular struggle. In fact, the liberation movement had to recreate a mass-orientated civil society in our country after the repression of the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. And the liberation movement created this broad civil society which played a central role in helping to overcome repression, provide alternative services and ideas to people, help to create the activist core of the liberation movement itself. In fact, we've had a debate in the ANC where we see the ANC itself as part of civil society whilst remaining today a political party. The ANC is one of the largest mass organizations in the country, and it's very difficult at times to separate between its role as a civil society and a political party. The breakthrough of 1994 created an opportunity to reconfigure the state, other aspects of our society, but obviously based on the limitations of the circumstances of the time and the processes that led to the creation of the new state. The vision of the ANC was to deepen democracy and public participation, people's lives, to change the terrible conditions that the majority of people live in, to ensure equality, broad-based service delivery, and also to create a new situation in the country, a situation that would allow the emergence of new citizens and new forms of citizens' participation. In the last 20 years, we've seen major victories and achievements in this process. The most important is the massive levels of service delivery that have taken place. I don't want to go into the details, but I would like to refer anyone who wants to disagree with that to the census documents which compare the situation in 96 and 2011, which show a complete transformation of the situation in our country. In fact, anyone who lived in South Africa before 94 and lives here today would know the almost fact that we live in two different countries. Really, since 2009, what we've seen is the closing down of the provincial legislature in the Western Cape's engagement with civil society. We no longer have any real public participation processes. I've been to a number of committee meetings which were meant to be involve public participation, which had to actually be cancelled because no one pitched up from civil society. And I'm not blaming civil society for that. I'm blaming those in power in the provincial legislature who do nothing to assist the participation of civil society in these processes. In the social development area, many NGOs, including NGOs which I'm on the board of, have seen their funding arbitrarily cut. I'm on the board of BABS, which is a civil society organization in Q-Town, one of the oldest black NGOs in the country. And we were told as BABS by the Department of Social Development 3 years ago to employ a social worker to conduct a program with the aged. We did so at our own expense, and the next year the department cut all funding to BABS. We still have to now pay for that social worker they told us to employ out of our own funding. We've also seen the manipulation of civil society processes. I've been involved, for instance, in the issue of predator animals. This was a process that was being run by Cape Nature when farmers put huge pressure on the government to give them the right to shoot any animals they wanted. The Premier took that process of public participation away from Cape Nature, put it into her own office, and decided which NGOs would take part in the process. The Landmark Foundation, which is a world leader in dealing with these issues, was purposely excluded from that process because the government didn't like the individual who leads that organization. We need to say also that we need to look at the way forward. There are many, as I said, the process is uneven both at a national and provincial level. And in this regard, the ANC has put into its election manifesto key issues of how it will work with civil society. The center of that program is the National Development Plan, and the National Development Plan processes have also looked at deepening the involvement of civil society in their development. For instance, our manifesto states that the state, in partnership with private sector, organized labor, and civil society, must create the conditions to accelerate economic growth and stimulate job creation. And as the ANC has worked in and out of government in the last 10 years, together with civil society, we will continue that in the next 5 years to ensure that there's a real partnership both with organized civil society and the people in general.